Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Tutor Box, and in today's class I am going to discuss about pharmacovigilance lecture, and in this particular pharmacovigilance lecture I am discussing how to establish pharmacovigilance in a hospital. Okay, so earlier we already discussed the history of the pharmacovigilance. It is a way back in 1986 the pharmacovigilance was established in the India, and initially it was established in 3 hospitals like AIIMS New Delhi and the Hospital of Aligarh Muslim University, as well as King Edward Memorial Hospital Mumbai and J. Allen Hospital Aligarh Muslim University. And at that time initially there was 12 center, initially 3 center, then expanded to 12 center, and then after WHO and World Bank sponsored the National Pharmacovigilance Program in 2005, and then further it was expanded, and CDSCO initial considered as a nodal center, and then from CDSCO the National Nodal Center is shifted to the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. Clear? And currently more than 24 centers are running. At that time Drug Controller General of India proposes CDSCO Vision 2020, and Drug Control General of India has launched CDSCO Vision 2020, and they proposes the PV center. Clear? So according to that, each and every country they should have one nodal center for pharmacovigilance, and we already discussed in earlier lecture why pharmacovigilance is needed. But the important point why pharmacovigilance needed, we must understand these points. Then after that we will understand how to start pharmacovigilance in a hospital. Clear? So basically pharmacovigilance is related with the drug safety and efficacy. Okay, we all know this point of pharmacovigilance, and generally the question arises in people's mind that why a clinical trial not able to identify or not able to trace the all adverse event related with the drug. Clear? That is a big question for the scientific persons as well as professionals and healthcare professionals as well as in general people, that why clinical trial failed to report the ADR. So there are some reason why clinical trial are not able to find out the all ADR, and that's why there is a generation of the pharmacovigilance to identify the ADRs and safety and efficacy of the already launched drug or newly launched drugs. So why they fail? The first one is fewer number of the patient registered in the clinical trial. Whenever the clinical trial are registered, as we all know that in phase 3 trial we have a maximum up to 3000 to 5000 persons, or more than we can say 5000 to 10,000. So that is the max to max number. So in respect to the world population, 5,000 to 10,000 number is a very less. That's why we are unable to identify. So this is the first point. Then the second one is what? Limited duration of the trial. Limited duration of the trial, and trial remain for such a short span of time, not for a longer span of the time. That's why that also is one of the reason. And specific geographic location of the trial. Basically trials are running at a particular country. Okay, suppose the trial is going in the Germany, then the people of the German origin, they face the drug, but the same drug is approved and it also approved for the other country, then it create the problem because the genetic makeup of the German people and the other country people are somewhat different. So that is also one of the criteria. And difference condition of the use from clinical practices. So clinical trial is generally what happen, they are completed or performed on a certain conditions of the patient, but when they approved, and some drugs are approved like say, approved for a certain condition, but they in clinical practice they use for other conditions as well. Similarly, I am just giving you the example like remdesivir was approved for a certain conditions of the corona patient, critical patient. But what happened in the COVID attack, so many people, those who do not require remdesivir, they also given the remdesivir. So this kind of the things happen in the clinical trial. Gross variation among different country. So country to country there is a too much difference, as well as differences in the same country. Same country region has also some difference. I'm just giving you the example, like North Indian people as well as South Indian people. So there is a genetic material difference between North Indian and South Indian, as well as there is a North Indian and Northeast people. So this is also a genetic variation, somewhat genetic variation. So every drug react in a different manner for certain genetic variations, certain genetic makeups. Okay, so this is one of the other reason for failure of the clinical trial, or we can say failure to identify the ADR. And further, differences in pharmaceutical protocol manufacturing. Pharmaceutical manufacturing protocols are different for different countries. Clear? So each and every country has their own guideline. So that may also cause some problem to identify the ADRs, as well as food habits and genetics of the whole country, as well as a country to country. It is different. So I already given the example, like North Indian and South Indian food habits are different. Similarly, Indians and Americans have a food habit different. So this may also cause problem to report the ADR during the clinical trial. And heterogeneity in clinical practices in India. Generally, what happen in India, people are using allopathic medicine, doctor prescribe allopathic medicine, but simultaneously, without telling to the doctor, people also taking Ayurvedic medicine, Unani medicine, homeopathic medicine, Siddha medicine. So without awareness of the doctor, they are taking these medicines as well. So there is a possibility there may be a drug-drug interaction between homeopathic and Ayurvedic, homeopathic and allopathic medicine, Ayurvedic and allopathic medicine, or any of the two system medicines. Okay, but these ADR cannot be identified during the clinical trial, because clinical trial is completed or performed on the single drug entity. So this kind of heterogeneity is too much available in the India. So this is a big problem to identify the ADRs. Clear, everyone? So that's why we are unable to identify the ADR. So this possesses a need to establish the pharmacovigilance center in the India, as well as in each and every hospital. Then the question arises in health professionals mind, that how to start or getting started, from where to start. So the first thing is that if we should start the pharmacovigilance in the government setup or in a private setup. For government setup, there is a requirement of a political governance. Okay, how much government is happy to launch these program, or what is the government thought about the pharmacovigilance, how much government is thinking about the healthcare policies. So these are the important points. So the first one is, if in government setup pharmacovigilance center is starting, then there is a requirement of a political governance, as well as healthcare priority. What is the priority of the government of India? So then further, what are the laws and regulation for to enactment of these pharmacovigilance center, and how these law will enforce. Clear? So law enforcement as well as funding for government pharmacovigilance center, funding should be provided by the government center, as well as from other like World Bank or other kind of philanthropy organization, they may provide. Then further, in which organization this pharmacovigilance will be start, then which organization this pharmacovigilance will start, and what kind of staff we will take, and how to give the training, and how to develop these centers. So these all are the questions arises before starting of the pharmacovigilance center. So taking these questions in the mind, the government of India started the pharmacovigilance center. So from where to start? The first point come in their mind, where to start. So it should be started in the hospital, particularly if initially it was first started in the government hospital, or particularly AIIMS New Delhi, and then I already told in 3 hospital in earlier in India. So it was started in the hospital, and but in which department of the hospital it should be established? So there are some department which are related with the drug interactions, like pharmacology department, as well as clinical pharmacy department, medicine department, internal medicine department, or clinical toxicology department. So these kind of department may take initiative to start the pharmacovigilance center. So these are the some department where pharmacovigilance center can be started. But generally in India, in most of the hospital in pharmacology department, this pharmacovigilance center has started. Then from one hospital it was started in the first one hospital, then in entire region. Like if you are talking about the Rajasthan, so initially it was started in the SMS Medical College Jaipur, then further it was spread to the other government medical colleges. Clear? So in the entire region, and then from this entire region will report to the zonal center. Like for North India there is a one zonal center, okay, and then from zonal center then they will report to the national nodal center, and national nodal center will report to the UMC, Uppsala Monitoring Center, which is an international center for the pharmacovigilance. Clear? So this is the first step, means pharmacovigilance should be started in the hospital, and the department is decided now in which department we should start. Now there are some other questions. Now if we decided about the hospital that in particular department we are starting this pharmacovigilance center, then we need to plan lot of things. So what are our planning? So planning the basics, we need to bring a planning. So initially whenever we are making a building or creating a school, then initially preparing its design first on the paper. Similarly, whenever we are starting the pharmacovigilance center, we need a blueprint to establish the pharmacovigilance center. Clear? So what is the blueprint? So I am discussing the blueprint of that establishment. So the first one is communication process. So we must communicate to all over the persons related with the healthcare, like pharmacologist, epidemiologist, clinical pharmacist, as well as physician, as well as toxicologist. Clear? And so many other people who are associated with that, and we must do conversation with them, and then we should brief the importance of the project. Means if we are starting the pharmacovigilance center, then what is its importance and how it help to give the better services of healthcare professional towards the general people. So if we discuss the importance of this project and its applicability, then the people who are associating with this program, they able to understand that what is its importance and what are its benefits, so they can take some steps to establish this pharmacovigilance. Clear, everyone? So initially in a hospital, whenever we are starting it, so in a hospital, the people who are associated with that department and the people who are also associated with the clinical trials, okay, so those all doctors, physicians, nurses, toxicologists, each and every person has a meeting, and the people associated with the pharmacovigilance make them aware about this program. Then data acquisition is another important point, how to get the data of the drugs. So in India, it is one of the biggest tough task in India, because data collection from the patient is very tough in India. Basically, patients are not ready to give its information very easily, as well as healthcare professionals are also not very keen to get the data. Clear? So it is very tough. That's why the pharmacovigilance centers, what they are doing, they initially creating a case report forms. Okay, so how they are getting the ADR reports? They generate the case report form. Now what are the case report form? Just understand what are the case report form. Case report form are basically a form in which we are getting all the information of the patient, as well as all the information of the adverse event and all the information of the drug which giving some such kind of adverse event which is not reported in the clinical trials. Clear? So what kind of information required in case report form? I'm just giving you the some points about the case report form. Clear? So just understand. So a CRF can have a patient information like age, gender, medical history in brief, ethnic origin. Okay, in some country ethnic origin is important. And ADE monitoring means detailed description of side effect, like what kind of nature it is, localization, where it is found, like hand or feet or other body parts, severity, how much severe it is, characterization, and reports of investigation and test, and date of appearance, course and outcome. कब वो आइडेंटिफाई किया गया था, उसकी डेट क्या थी, ठीक है, और उसका आउटकम क्या रहा। देन किस मेडिसिन की वजह से ऐसा हुआ है, मीन सस्पेक्टेड मेडिसिन, लाइक नेम, व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द ड्रग, like proprietary name as well as brand name, formulation, ingredient, what kind of ingredient, involvement, concentration, manufacturer, dose, route of administration, date of initiation of the therapy as well as date of withdrawal of the therapy. That is important, when we started and when we stop. So indications of use, what are the indication given in the drug and for which kind of condition it was used. So this is also important, and re-challenge in case of non-serious adverse event. So I already discussed about the re-challenge. Then other medicine, whether the side effect occur in the simultaneously use of the medicine. Okay, so other medicine, what kind of other medicine, also taken by the patient. So all the other medicine used by the patient, including self medication, including their name, dose, route, date of initiation, withdrawal, all things should be included in the CRF. And risk factor, like person, those who are taking the drug, whether the person is suffering from renal impairment or past exposure of medication, history of allergy, or any social drug use. Social drug use means like some kind of illicit use or some kind of other kind of drugs. And reporter who are reporting, means the person who is reporting this means physician name or pharmacist name. So name and address of the reporter, that should be confidential to be used for the data completion, verification and follow up. So these are the information must have in the CRF. Now looking on the bringing reporting culture, next point is what? Bringing reporting culture. So initially in India it is very tough to report the ADR because patients are not interested, as well as doctors or physicians are also not very interested because they have a too much burden of the patient. Okay, so they cannot give too much time to a single patient in India particularly. So it is really tough to bringing reporting culture. So how we can get this? So these are, we can say, some solution like easy reporting form. Report form should be very easily accessible. Like nowadays what happen, there is an application generated by Indian Pharmacopoeial Commission in association with the CDSCO to report the ADR. Okay, so from that application the physician or a healthcare professional can report the ADR. Then this information should be provided in the journal, newsletter, magazine, healthcare magazines. Okay, and active involving of the staff in the meetings, particularly those who are involved with the pharmacovigilance center, all kind of healthcare professionals with all kind of departments which are involved, they should have a meeting, and in those meetings the people who are heading the pharmacovigilance center, they should encourage to actively participation and actively reporting of the ADR. Then collaboration with the other pharmacovigilance center and collaborating with the pharmacovigilance committee, as well as collaboration with the other professional association of the pharmacovigilance. So this may give the huge impetus to the professionals in the reporting of the ADR. And utilizing the PV data, that is also important. Whatever the pharmacovigilance data we have, we must utilize those data. So this kind of things, if bring in the culture, then it will be very easy to get the ADR. Okay, so then dissemination. So dissemination means whatever the planning of the pharmacovigilance center and how to report and whatever the various aspect of the pharmacovigilance should be distributed through the handouts. So handout should be made, and handout should be very easy to understand, clear. So this is one of the thing. And like pharmacovigilance center should organize workshop and seminar, and they in these seminar and workshop, the healthcare profession along with the patients, they should participate in this. Okay, so general people awareness is also important, not only on the healthcare professional, because ADR can be reported by laymen in a huge quantity, because if they report their ADR self, then this will provide huge data. Okay, so that is important. If you are talking about the European country and American subcontinent, people are very educated and they themselves report the ADR, but in India people are not reporting their ADR themselves. Okay, so that is why we are not able to get the much data in the pharmacovigilance. Then further establishment means where in hospital, wherever we are establishing, there is a need of accommodation, like some kind of rooms and some kind of laboratories. Okay, so suitable place and accommodation are required. And ICT item means like internet facility, computers, hard disk, as well as projectors and telephones. Such kind of things also require, fax, printers, all these things also required in the establishment. Then manpower, that is important. Without manpower we can't do anything in any place. So what kind of manpower we require? Like pharmacologist required, toxicologist, pathologist, epidemiologist, pharmacist, QA professionals, and drug regulatory peoples. Okay, those who are related with the medicine regulation, all these kind of people, as well as clinical pharmacologist and physicians. So all those healthcare professionals are required for as a manpower. Then internal education means there is a requirement of internal education of these people, means manpower. Those who are involved with the pharmacovigilance center, there is a requirement of internal education. So what kind of education we are giving in the pharmacovigilance center? So the internal education, or we can say training for data collection, data filtration, then data mining. Okay, mining means there is so much data, then we have to trace some data particular. So if we have 100 report, then we have to find the particular kind of case. So in 100 report there may be 10 reports, so we have to identify these 10 reports. Okay, or I can give an example, like there are some jobs in the market. Okay, but we have to identify only job for the pharmacist or only job for the doctors. So in sarkari jobs we have to only identify the jobs related with the doctors, or we have to identify only jobs related to nursing or paramedicals. Okay, so this is called mining. Then verification of those data, then interpretation of the data, that is also important. How to interpret the ADR, whether this ADR is earlier reported or it is a serious adverse event. Okay, so this is also, interpretation is very important. Then the coding of the ADR. Okay, coding of the ADR, how to do the coding. So the coding classification is also given in the pharmacovigilance. Then casualty assessment and ADR management. And then ADR management, casualty assessment and ADR management. So these all kind of training is must for the manpower associated with the pharmacovigilance. Okay, so this is important. Then database, how to store whatever the data we are getting, how to store those data, as well as data confidentiality, that is also important, because we cannot expose that people have a adverse event from any kind of a drug. Another important point within this is data processing. Okay, data processing. So whatever the data we have, or the data which we are getting from the various pharmacovigilance reports, so all data should be processed for like anatomical ATC classification, or MedDRA, or EduVigilance. So all this data, whatever the data get by the country or nodal center, this data should be utilized by the other higher centers, so that it make easier to identify or interpretation of the ADR by the whole world community. So data processing is also important. That's why there are various organizations, or like MedDRA, those people are using. Then further promotion. So promotion is also important. How to promote the habit of reporting ADR, because generally people in India or like developing country are not reporting the ADR. So promotion of this point is also important, like promote to habit of the reporting ADR. Then networking. So networking is also important. Okay, so how to network this? So I already discussed, like from one hospital to UMC. So I already given the flow of the information from one hospital to how the information will reach to the UMC, Uppsala Monitoring Center. So similarly, networking is important with the UMC for each and every country. Clear? So each and every country nodal center is responsible to send the data to UMC. Then funding, that is one of the most important part, funding. Clear? Without funding we can't do anything. So funding is necessary. In government sector, the government is providing the funding, as well as WHO or World Bank is providing the funding. And in private sector, like philanthropic organizations, some healthcare professional bodies are providing the funding. So funding is important. Without funding we can't do and run the pharmacovigilance center in a hospital. Clear? Then further another important point is hypothesizing. Okay, hypothesize means whenever the pharmacovigilance center get the reports, then they should hypothesize, or they should identify the signal of the adverse event. Okay, signal detection is important. So they should identify the signals. If they identify the signal, then ADR reporting make very easy. Clear? And further, medical regulation. This is another point we can say. Medical regulation means pharmacovigilance center has a duty to keep an eye on a newly launched drug as well as the already launched drug. So whenever they get the report of the ADR, they should inform the people, or they should send the warning signals, or they issue the warning and unmask the newsletter about the adverse events. Like CDSCO in India, it is issuing the newsletter about the adverse events. So that is important. So this is the part of medical regulation. Clear, everyone? So this is all about of pharmacovigilance, how to establish in a hospital. So I hope you people are able to understand how to establish in a hospital. Generally in university examination there may be a question from this section. Write a note on how to establish a pharmacovigilance in a hospital. You can write about these points. Clear, everyone? So I hope you people are able to understand. If you think this lecture is useful, then share it with other students. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.